Apple CEO Tim Cook will step down on September 1st after 15 years at the helm of the company. During his tenure, Cook helped quadruple the tech company's revenue and pushed Apple to become the first publicly traded company to be worth over $1 trillion. That was back in 2018. Today, it's valued at $4 trillion. Cook, who will become executive chairman of Apple, will be replaced by the current senior vice president of hardware engineering, John Ternus. CBS Sunday Morning correspondent David Pogue joins me now. And David, talk to us a bit about the kind of leader that Tim Cook was and his legacy.
He was the opposite of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was colorful and volatile, an idea guy, a product guy. Tim Cook is calm, reserved. He does not lead by raising his voice. He's a genius with logistics, supply chain, nuts and bolts. I don't know how Jobs knew that this would be the right successor, but as you've said, Cook has been a spectacular CEO, at least from a dollars and cents perspective. He's never been a product guy, though, but somehow Apple's done okay without another annual or semi-annual release of blockbuster new products.
And what do we know about his replacement, John Ternus?
Turnus is currently the senior vice president of hardware engineering. So I interviewed him for my book. He is also calm, reserved, not a showy person, but there's a difference. Turnus has been involved with every Apple hardware product since the iPad. So he has a little bit more of the Steve Jobs in him than Tim Cook did. He could be more of a product guy than Tim Cook.
Yeah, and speaking of that, how do you see the company's focus in particular potentially shifting when it comes to AI products under Ternus?
Yeah, AI has been a tricky spot for Apple. They've had some corporate turnover, they've had some changes in strategy. I think the central problem is that AI only sort of works. As you know, if you've ever asked for answers from ChatGPT or Google Gemini, 28% of the time it gives you a wrong answer. Apple is not a company that likes to ship products that kind of work. So it puts Apple in a tough position. Everybody's screaming, give us AI, give us AI. And Apple doesn't want to deliver something that's partly broken. We do know that in June, they will be unveiling their new AI-driven Siri, a Siri that knows, with perfect privacy, of course, all your emails, your text messages, and your files. So we'll be able to answer amazing questions like, what time do I need to leave to pick up my mom? And Siri knows that your mom's coming in for Thanksgiving, knows what flight she's on, knows what the traffic is, and just says 1:30. So June should be a big answer to that question.
You referenced this earlier that you have interviewed Tim Cook, who was handpicked by Steve Jobs as his successor, and he talked with you about Apple's values, how they've stayed with him from the early days of the company. Why did Cook think that that was important, and do you see that continuing without him in charge?
Oh, well, Cook could see what happened when Apple did not follow the old Steve Jobs policies, because there was a period of 11 years in there when Jobs was gone and the company almost disappeared. I mean, by 1996, Apple was 6 weeks from bankruptcy. And it was because Apple had turned into a more traditional technology company, more concerned with dollars and cents and profit margins and licensing and clones and selling off parts of it. Jobs came back in 97 and said, no, focus, 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 focus on the products, and the dollars themselves will take care of themselves. And so, yes, that will absolutely continue. If you think about it, Apple has a very small product line. They've focused down to a set of products that would fit on a boardroom table. Contrast that with, Sony or Samsung or another company with hundreds or thousands of products. And that's been the key to Apple maintaining the quality in the things that it does.
All right, David Pogue, thank you so much for your reporting and your expertise tonight.